The National Assembly's one-month window period for the Kenya Medical Association to look into new proposals that will guide the fees charged by doctors has run out, and the umbrella body has been in a special National Governing Council meeting all morning. And as we speak, they are preparing to address the media, and our reporter Eunice Omolo is following up on the same. And we are also at the popular Maasai market within Nairobi's Central's business district, which was temporarily shut down this morning following a dispute over daily charges between traders and county government officials. Our reporter Helen Aura will be joining us from that Kenyatta market. But for now, the National Assembly's one-month window period for the Kenya Medical Association to look into new proposals that will guide the fees charged by doctors has run out. KMA had rejected attempts by the government to impose the new rules, saying the implementation will inevitably violate the rights of private practitioners to earn a decent living, and that it will undermine the self-regulation mechanisms. Now, the umbrella body, as I said, has been in a special National Governing Council meeting this morning, and top on the agenda was a proposed changes to the rules governing private practice professional fees. And as I mentioned, they are now addressing the media. Let's listen in.
Is here, the Vice Chair. The Secretary General of the Doctors Union is here, the members of the Governing Council, the leadership of the other professional associations are here. And I will now let Dr. Jacqueline Kitulu, the President of Kenya Medical Association, to read the statement. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So these are resolutions for the Special National Governing Council meeting held today on the 5th of January. The Kenya Medical Association National Governing Council, at its special meeting held at KMA Center today, attended by the leadership of Kenya Dental Association, Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, Kenya Medical, KMPDU, and all specialist medical associations, considered, deliberated, and made the following resolutions. 1. On the status of the health sector and KMA's role in the implementation of universal health coverage, the association fully supports a national rollout of universal health coverage, which must be of good quality, public-led, tax-funded, and in public health facilities. 2. On the proposed changes to the rules governing private practice professional fees. 1. We consider the ongoing process of reviewing doctors' private practice professional fees to be rushed and with inadequate input from the professionals. 2. The association is willing to enter into a broad-based discussion on total healthcare costs, not limited to private practitioners' professional fees only, but the whole value chain in the whole health, in the costing of healthcare. 3. We shall therefore not participate in the stakeholders meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 8th of January. We, as all the members here today, I will reiterate, shall not participate in the stakeholders meeting scheduled for Tuesday, 8th of January, and advise all our members to stay away from this meeting. The process under which it is undertaken is quite flawed, and we shall not participate in a flawed process. The association would like the government to clarify the relationship between UHC and private practice healthcare providers. On the third item, on the involvement of local and foreign mid-level health practitioners and unqualified persons in medical practice in Kenya, the association expresses dissatisfaction on the methodology of engagement, registration, and licensing of foreign healthcare practitioners whose qualifications are unclear. The association shall in the coming weeks propose legislation to deal summarily with charlatans and unqualified actors who put Kenyans' lives at risk and get away with only a slap on the wrist. The association notes with regret the recent trend in which unqualified persons are influencing legislation in order to classify themselves as professionals, when in fact they are mid-level healthcare practitioners with important roles in the sector. The association shall vigorously oppose these attempts to misrepresent mid-level healthcare professionals as professionals, and in this regard, the association shall work closely with sister professional associations to address the matter. In this connection, the association issues the following advisory to all medical and dental practitioners. The Code of Professional Conduct and Discipline, revised in 2012, for medical and dental practitioners in Kenya, expressly prohibits handing over responsibility for patients to unqualified persons. This is Chapter 4, Section 14B of the Code. Practitioners are advised to adhere to this code and are cautioned that the association shall not protect any practitioner who breaches this provision. 4. On the changing regulatory environment under the new Health Act, the association demands the immediate operationalization of the Act, and in particular the appointment of members of the oversight and regulatory authorities created by the Act in order to streamline operations in the sector. The association expresses concern over the recent passed amendments in various amendment acts, whose import is to entrench harmful practices in the health sector and expose Kenyans to poor quality health care. The association shall work closely with sister professional associations, including the Pharmaceutical Society, to oppose such legislative changes and protect Kenyans from potentially harmful practices. Finally, on conditions for a harmonious coexistence with other players in the health sector. 1. The association urges Parliament to enact legislation providing for a health service commission. Again, I will repeat. The association urges Parliament to enact legislation providing for a health service commission to comprehensively manage human resources for health in this country. 2, the association pledges to work closely with sister professional associations in setting standards for quality care for all Kenyans within the scope of professional practice for all cadres in the healthcare sector. The association pledges to support our colleagues in other cadres in the sector to strengthen themselves in order to protect Kenyans from charlatans and unqualified practitioners. The association urges other health professional associations and societies to clarify to their members the recognized scope of professional practice and to support their members to provide the highest attainable care within the scope of practice as envisioned in the Constitution of Kenya. The association urges the government to take concrete steps to end the training of mid-level healthcare practitioners, where the main profession in the cadre has large numbers of practitioners, and to support the mid-level healthcare practitioners to transition into the respective professions. So signed this 5th of January by myself, the president of the Kenya Medical Association, Dr. Kitulu, and all the other associations here today, the Kenya Dental Association, the union, and all the specialist associations. Thank you.
Questions?
Why, I have a question in regards to the regulation of the professional fees, the private professional fees by the doctors. Why exactly are you rejecting the proposals to have it changed or amended, taken back to the 2006 proposed fees?
And I think we had communicated on this earlier on in a presser, that the current guidelines and what are the rules, not guidelines. So 2006 were guidelines, but what we presently have, and which is enacted and passed and gazetted by the CS, are the rules of 2016. So that in law is what obtains. There is a clear process set within the professional association, within the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Board for reviewing those guidelines. And that is why we go back to our statement that indeed we are very willing as the association to participate in a broad-based discussion. If we are talking about ensuring that costs are reduced, we must discuss all the way from the hospital costs, the inputs, the medications. We cannot focus on just one unit, which is a service provider, and yet the healthcare costs abound in several areas. And actually moving on further from that, in the discussion of universal health coverage, as it has been rolled out, and that is an area we are highly supporting. And we say this is the role of government. When government says in the Constitution that it guarantees you health of the highest attainable level, That is what government should be providing. That is what we are actually calling on parliamentarians, on consumer organizations, that they should put our government to task to ensure that the public health facilities have everything they require. That is in the Constitution, the government guarantees you that. So we are fully supportive of that. Our members are providers in there, but that is a process that has to be facilitated and ensuring that government is public facilities where each and every mwananchi should be able to walk in and get good quality care. So we are not talking about quantity of care, we are also talking about quality of care. That is our focus as professionals, that the public get good quality health care. And we fully support the UHC rollout, but on the discussion of professional fees, which is a separate issue, we would like to have that discussion in the broader context of cost of healthcare and look at it broadly and deal with the problem as one package with a clear solution and not sort of touching piecemeal on issues that will not have a total effect on the cost of healthcare.
In your opinion, what do you think is, how practical do you think UHC is in comparison to what you've seen concerning NHIF and the gaps that have been there, the scandals? And right now, like if you have a card and you go to, let's say, a private medical facility, they'll tell you only take those ones from civil servants and the armed forces.
Okay, so going back onto the present rollout of UHC. So the model that has been rolled out is actually quite different from what was initially envisaged and discussed under NHIF. So if you realize the present rollout in the 4 counties where UHC has been rolled out, it is public facility-based, it is tax-funded. So the funds that taxpayers pay and are apportioned to the healthcare sector are going to take care of the costs. Now, the difference with the previous plan to have NHIF as the vehicle for UHC, you realize that it means that to obtain services for NHIF, you must be able to pay into it. So then what happens then to the vast majority of the poor people who cannot afford to pay? Then it means you have cut them out from obtaining services. When you talk about universal, it means across the board. As soon as you say, I cannot pay into the process, then it means then you cannot obtain the service. Yeah. So indeed, we discussed this with the CS for Health, Honorable Cicely Kariuki, when she told us about the new rollout. And we said that is a position as KMA and as the various associations we have supported always, that it needs to be tax-based. The funds come in and in public facilities and ensures that everybody, you and I, can step into a facility and get good quality health care. So NHIF on its own, yes, can be as one of the strategic purchasers like any of the other insurers, but then it means you do not cut off those who are unable to pay into it. Mm-hmm. Yes.
But since the rollout is working now, because that was since last month and the presentation.
Okay, so in terms of the rollout, I think that one, indeed it was just rolled out on the 13th of December, following World UHC Day of 12th of December. And I think on that part, we will leave government to answer that. It is there, it is in there, it is there, baby, and we fully support it. And I think we would like to, they've given themselves like a 3-month run so that they can give feedback to us. So I think it would be premature for me to comment on that, but definitely it has been rolled out. And we have our members here from Machakos County. Our Treasurer General is working in Machakos County. She can attest to it that yes, UHC has been rolled out there. Yes.
Well, we have been listening in to the president of the Kenya National Medical Association, Jacqueline Kitulu, even after they ended that National Governing Council meeting that was held all morning. And top on the agenda was the proposed changes to the rules governing private practice professional fees. They have put out a few resolutions, some of them including to do with the fees mentioned, and they have said they also consider that that review on private practice practitioners' fees should be rushed. They have also said they will not participate in a stakeholders meeting that is scheduled for Tuesday the 8th, that is supposed to look into those new proposals that will guide fees charged by doctors, saying that meeting is hurried and not consultative. And of course, they have put the government to task to clarify the role of universal healthcare and private practice practitioners. More